Hello friends, hope you have completed the ray diagrams of convex and concave mirror. Today we are beginning with sign convention for spherical mirrors. Now as you can see in the diagram, we have drawn M dash, a concave mirror. We have also drawn x-axis and y-axis. There it reads x dash, y dash. We have marked at the origin, we have marked P that is pole of the mirror. As you all know, Cartesian coordinate system, you have studied in coordinate geometry in maths, that from P on x-axis on left hand side we have negative integers. From P on right hand side on x-axis we have positive integers. Similarly, in the upper half plane of x-axis and lower half plane of x-axis, we have positive numbers on the upper side of P and negative integers on the lower side of P, that is on the y-axis. Now, here we should remember that whatever distances that are measured against the direction of incident ray. Now there we have shown incident ray against the direction of incident ray, which we mean this side. Now second important point, first of all, that whatever the distances that are there, they are measured from pole of the mirror. So whatever distances that are measured on left hand side of the pole of the mirror are taken as negative. Whatever distances that are taken from P on positive side or in direction of incident ray, they are all taken positive. For example, here I have placed AB. AB is the object. So if I want to measure object distance from P, that is P to B, object distance we have its notation U, small u. Now that small u, the sign will be negative, minus. Similarly, if we want to measure any distance on right hand side of P, as I said earlier, they will be taken positive. Similarly, on the upper side, if I say height of object, that height of object on upward side we will take plus, positive sign. Lower side we will take minus, that is negative sign. So do remember this Cartesian sign convention. Now here I have noted down the 6 points. The 6 points are to be remembered. Generally, this is a question of 3 marks in board examination. Explain Cartesian sign convention with respect to spherical mirror, where you will have to draw the diagram and you will have to write down these 6 points. The first point is, these points are already given in the textbook. Only I am explaining them. Do remember. The object AB lies on the left hand side of the mirror and hence light is incident from left hand side of the mirror. So object is always placed on left hand side of the mirror, whether it is a mirror or whether it is a lens, always the object to be placed on the left hand side. If you happen to draw any diagram, though the diagram may be correct, but if the object is placed on the right hand side, at first hand only, that diagram will stand wrong. So do take care of that. Then second point, all the distances parallel to the principal axis are measured from pole of the mirror. All the distances parallel to the principal axis are measured from pole of the mirror. I hope you know what is the pole of the mirror now. This is the pole of the mirror. The third point, distance is measured in the same direction as the incident ray are taken as positive. The next one, distance is measured against the direction of incident ray are taken as negative. And fifth point is, distance is measured above the principal axis, that is in positive y direction, positive y axis are taken positive. And distance is measured below the principal axis that is negative y-axis, are taken as negative. So do remember this sign convention for spherical mirror. Then we are talking about mirror formula. Now mirror formula is the formula that gives a relation between object distance u, image distance v, and focal length of f of spherical mirror. Now remember, u, v and f are all small alphabets. In no case you should write them capital. Mathematical form is 1 upon u plus 1 upon v is 1 upon f. So what is magnification? Do remember mirror formula, we will be dealing with some numericals related to it. Magnification, the ratio of image height h dash to the object height h is called the magnification. That is, magnification is height of image upon height of object. Now that is m is equal to h dash upon h. The terms of the object distance u and image distance v, magnification m can even be expressed as m is equal to h dash upon h is equal to minus v upon u. That is, we are explaining or we are giving another formula of magnification in terms of object distance and image distance. So m is equal to minus v upon u. Remember that. We are now coming to important point regarding magnification. Remember, if value of m is positive, image is virtual. If value of m is negative, image is real. Concave mirror can produce both virtual and real images. We have seen those diagrams where first 5 cases, in all the 5 cases we had real image, and real images are always inverted. As far as last case is concerned, in concave mirror, where we are getting a virtual image, and that's why it is stated concave mirrors can produce both virtual and real image. So magnification m of a concave mirror can either be positive or negative. Then convex mirror and plane mirror can produce only virtual images. So their magnification will always be positive. So convex mirror and plane mirror are giving positive magnification or positive value of magnification. Value of m, once again, the magnification, that is value of m, can either be greater than 1, equal to 1 or less than 1. Now remember, greater than 1 means certainly the height of the object and height of the image, that comparison we are making. Greater than 1 implies that height of image is greater than the height of object. Equal to 1 means image and object both are of same size, same height. Less than 1 means the image obtained is certainly less than the size or less than the height of the object. So here we are giving in terms of symbols, m is greater than 1. If the value of m is greater than 1, it means that the size of image is larger than size of the object. When m is equal to 1, we mean that if the value of m is 1, it means size of image is equal to size of object. Third point, m is less than 1, which means that size of image is less than size of the object. Now let's go further. Remember, image produced by a plane mirror is always same size as that of the object. So in case of plane mirror, when you are standing in front of a plane mirror, your image is similar to you. That is, it is equal. M is equal to 1. That's what we say. Then second, image produced by convex mirror is always diminished. That is smaller than the object. Thus, m is less than 1. Image produced by a concave mirror can be both larger or smaller than the object. That is, m is greater than 1 or less than 1. In case of plane mirror, image height is equal to object height. Why do we say m is equal to 1 in case of plane mirror? So this is the explanation given. Because image height and object height both are same. M is equal to h dash upon h. H dash and h both are equal. That's why we get the value 1. Image formed in this case by plane mirror will be virtual, erect and of the same size as the object. It can also be explained in this manner in terms of v and u. Now we know that m is equal to minus v upon u. Now u is equal to minus v, and therefore when we substitute the value, we will get plus 1 the value. Since v is equal to minus u, the size of image v will be same as the object. But negative sign indicates that image will be behind the mirror. So do remember that. Now we are coming to one numerical. The numerical is already given in the textbook. Do read that numerical twice, thrice. That is example 10.1. Now there we have been given a mirror and their radius of curvature is plus 3. Now plus 3 because it is a convex mirror stated in the example. So because it is convex mirror, radius of curvature is plus 3. Object distance, because object is placed on the left hand side of the pole, that's why object distance will be always negative. So we are taking 5 meter. Image distance we want to find, and we also want to find height of the image. Now we know that the relation between focal length f is r by 2. Radius of curvature and focal length. There is a relation between the two, that focal length is half of radius of curvature. And that's why 3 upon 2 gives us 1.5. Sign is positive. Here I have written principal focus of a concave mirror is behind the mirror. And that's why value is positive. Now using mirror formula, we have that relation 1 upon u plus 1 upon v is equal to 1 upon f. Because we want to find out v, I am taking this 1 upon u on the other side. When it is taken on the other side, 1 upon v is equal to 1 upon f minus 1 upon u. So we get 1 upon 1.5 minus 1 upon minus 5. Minus minus becomes plus. This is in the denominator, it is 1.5. We can write it as 10 upon 15. So it is 10 upon 15 plus 1 upon 5. If I take LCM to be 15, we get 10 plus 3. Thereby 1 upon v is equal to 13 upon 15. Now here v is equal to, because if 1 upon v is 13 upon 15, v will be inverse of 13 upon 15. That is 15 upon 13. And we get the value 1.15. Position of the image is at a distance of 1.15 meter away from the pole of the mirror. Now as far as magnification is concerned, magnification is h dash upon h, which is minus v upon u. So minus 1.15 upon minus 5. Minus minus it becomes plus. If we simplify this particular fraction, we will get 0.23. The image is virtual, erect and smaller because it is on the right hand side. So virtual, erect and smaller, and size is 0.23 times the object. Now one more example 10.2 is there that you should try, and if you have any difficulty you can certainly contact me. Now we have ended with reflection. We are now beginning with refraction of light. Now you have already studied in earlier classes that refraction is a phenomenon in which ray of light gets bent when it passes from one medium to another. So when a ray of light passes from one medium to another, it bends. And this phenomenon we call it as refraction of light. Let us see how it is given here. It is saying when a ray of light travels obliquely from one transparent medium to another transparent medium, its path gets deviated from the original direction at the surface separating two media. This is called refraction. And there, with the help of diagram, I have shown how refraction takes place. Now here AB is the incident ray. This particular line, that is the surface separating two media, medium 1 and medium 2. This N1, it is actually eta. That N is sign of eta, but we will read it as N. N1 is refractive index of medium 1, N2, that is refractive index of medium 2. When this ray AB, the incident ray, passes from one medium to another, it is bending. It is not going straight. You can see it has bent. Now that bending we call it as refraction. Now do remember what is angle of incidence. I have already earlier said in reflection. The definition goes the same. The angle made by incident ray with the normal, that is known as angle of incidence. Similarly, angle of refraction. The angle made by refracted ray with the normal, we call it as angle of refraction. You remember REFRA, refraction. Two phenomena are different. Now we are coming to laws of refraction. Incident ray, refracted ray and normal to the surface separating two medium at the point of incidence all lie in the same plane. That is, this incident ray, this refracted ray, the normal at point of incidence all are lying in the same plane. And the second one is the ratio of sine of angle of incidence to sine of angle of refraction is constant. That is, sine I upon sine R is constant. And this particular result is known as Snell's law. Let us talk about refraction of light using glass slab. Refraction of light using glass slab. It is a question asked usually for 3 marks, where you are explaining about what is refraction and how we can prove that the refraction has taken place using glass slab. Now there you can just have a look at the figure. In figure it is given PQRS, that is the glass slab, AB is the incident ray, BC is the refracted ray, and this CD is emergent ray. Now what is done in this? That you are taking a drawing board. On drawing board you are affixing a drawing paper, and on that drawing paper you are placing a glass slab. After placing a glass slab, you are outer lining its boundary PQRS. After outer lining the boundary, you are removing the glass slab. You are putting aside. Now at a particular point B, at an angle, you are drawing ray AB. And perpendicular to the surface PQ, you are drawing another perpendicular line, what we call it as perpendicular or normal. The normal is MN. Now on AB we are fixing two pins, P1 and P2. We replace back the rectangular glass slab as same it was, PQRS. After that, looking from other side of the glass slab, we are affixing two more pins. We are affixing two more pins such that P1, P2, P3 and P4. I have not drawn the pins over here. But P1, P2, P3 and P4 all seem to be in same line. All appear to be in the same line. After having obtained those two pins, P3 and P4, that they seem to be in same line, we then remove the glass slab. We then remove those two pins even. After removing the pin, whatever the points that we get, on that we are drawing ray CD. Then we are joining BC. When we join BC, we see that actually that ray should have gone straight, but it has bent. Now that particular bending we call it as refraction. Now remember here, ray AB is known as incident ray. Ray BC is known as refracted ray, and ray CD is known as emergent ray. Here again, angle ABM, that is known as angle of incidence, angle NBC, that is angle of refraction, with respect to surface separating two media, PQ. Again, when we talk about SR, surface separating two media, that surface SR if we take, then with respect to SR, this BC will be considered as incident ray and CD will be considered as refracted ray. Do remember that. Now below the diagram, we have given the explanation about what these rays are named. So I have written ray AB is incident ray, ray BC is refracted ray, ray CD is emergent ray. Angle ABM is angle of incidence at surface PQ. Angle NBC is angle of refraction at surface PQ. Similarly, at surface SR also you can name accordingly. Now then, how actually this experiment is performed, that has been explained. What is there? I just repeat again what has been written. Now in this experiment what we do, we are taking a drawing board and on it we are fixing a drawing paper. Now on the drawing paper we are putting a rectangular glass slab. We are then outer lining its boundary, what we have in figure PQRS. Now we put aside this glass slab. At surface PQ, at point B, we draw an incident ray AB. We fix two more pins. We fix two pins on it. Now replace glass slab on the outer line boundary and on observing from the other side of the glass slab, that is on the side of SR, we affix two more pins such that all four pins are in same straight line. Now we remove those two pins and we are drawing an emergent ray as shown in figure, that is ray CD. We also draw ray BC. Here we can see that ray of light has bent on passing from one medium to another. That is, refraction takes place in case of glass slab. We get the diagram as shown earlier. The diagram has already been shown, like that particular diagram has to be drawn. Now remember, when a ray of light travels from rarer medium to denser medium, it bends towards the normal at the point of incidence. I show you with respect to the diagram. Now remember, here in this diagram, this was air medium, that is rarer medium. This is glass, so it is denser medium, thick denser medium. Now when this ray of light is passing from rarer medium to denser medium, you can see that where I have kept the pen, it should have gone straight, but it did not go straight, but it has bent towards the normal. So the bending is taking place towards the normal in this manner. And when a ray of light passes from denser medium to rarer medium, remember these are important points. When ray of light passes from denser medium to rarer medium, it should have gone in this manner, but it is bending away from the normal. Okay. So what do we say? Two important points. When a ray of light passes from rarer medium to denser medium, it bends towards the normal. And when it passes from denser medium to rarer medium, it bends away from the normal. That is what we have written. Lateral shift we should know now. What does lateral shift mean? Here lateral shift has been shown in the diagram. I show you once again. This ray should have gone directly in straight line as this way. But you can see that this CD is the emergent ray and it has shifted from here. It has shifted to this CD. It is shifted by distance CL. So that is what we call it, shift sideways. It is shifting sideways. That's why it is called lateral shift. So let's see what is given. Here the emergent ray CD is parallel to the incident ray BF. In other words, ray CD travels in the same direction as ray AB. But because of refraction, the emergent ray gets displaced by a particular distance CL. Such a perpendicular displacement is known as lateral shift. So what we have done today, we have gone through sign convention. Do remember sign convention along with the diagram and write down those 6 points. Learn those 6 points which are very important. Then learn about mirror formula. 1 upon u plus 1 upon v is equal to 1 upon f. Then we talked about magnification. Magnification is ratio of image height to ratio of object height. And then we also saw related differences in magnification when m is equal to 1 or m is greater than 1 or m is less than 1. That we have discussed. And then finally we came to refraction of light through glass slab, where we came to know about different types of rays: incident ray, refracted ray and emergent ray. We also talked about angle of incidence and angle of refraction with respect to different surfaces separating two media. Then we have also seen about lateral shift. So do remember all these points. And finally, also write down, try to remember. If you have any doubt, you can certainly ask me. You can certainly call and ask, no problem. But you must write down everything what has been done. Okay? Till then, stay home, stay safe, and we will be continuing with another video tomorrow. Till then, goodbye. See you then.